All right, all right, all right. Just let
All
me know
right.
when you're ready.
I'm always ready.
There you go.
hmm
That makes sense.
hmm
All right. Well, here we
Right.
go again. Part two, right?
Part two.
Part two. Part two of the story, the journey, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Part two
Yeah.
of The Matrix, right? That's
The
coming out soon.
Matrix. That is true, man. I
You know,
can't wait for that, man.
I was watching The Matrix on TV the other day, and my son came in the room. Cole's
hmm
18. He
Yeah.
walks in the door from the gym, comes inside. He looks at the TV. Becky and I are watching The Matrix, and Cole goes, "What's that?" We're like, "Dude, that's The
Are you
Matrix, bro.
serious?
Like, you don't know that?" And he was like,
Yeah.
"Okay." So then you had to go onto that journey of a parent where you're like, you have no idea that back when this came out, it was like way advanced in technology. And he's just like, I'm gonna go watch YouTube on my phone. I was like, all right then. What a
Well,
ding-a-ling,
when
man.
people calling the Matrix this old, man, and like it ain't that, man. Come on, man. I
It's all
mean,
right, man. We're bringing it back.
Mhm.
They got another one coming
That's
out,
right.
right? Just like
That's right.
uh, the other day again, this week, I was watching Top Gun, right? Navy guys on the screen here. Top Gun to Navy people, regular normal Navy people, is the same as those guys in the teams that would become SEALs that they watch Navy
Mhm.
SEALs, and that's how they got into being a Navy
That's right.
SEAL. When you watch Top
Uh,
Gun, it made you want to be in the Navy. Like, it was
eh,
ridiculous. But everybody wanted to be a pilot, and we already know it's really hard to do that. But I was
yeah.
watching that, and Cole was like, "This looks old." I'm like, "Dude,
It's like, man,
stop."
you need to leave the room. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you're leaving in a couple months. You get out. Like, you're hating on
Man,
all the stuff that I like.
look, I'm sorry, man. Top Gun never gets old to me, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
And you know,
we're also old.
you- yeah. I mean, they got a Top Gun a sequel coming out here,
Yep, yep.
man. I mean, they've been holding
Maverick.
it
It's
back.
coming.
I just, I'm like, is that one going to be just as good as the first one? Because I
Never.
mean, there's a lot of twists and turns. I don't know
Never.
if you can ever top the first one, but
I
I still
think
look forward to it.
it took so long to make the second one. I think it's going to be really good, but I mean, you can't play off of jumping into that second one, right? But I think it's going to be really
Yeah,
good. Any movie that you can put fighter jets in and fly around, dude,
yeah.
you can't beat
Navy
that.
fighter. Navy fighter jets, man. Let's just say that any movie that you put Navy
I
fighter
don't know,
jets in.
man.
I
That
mean,
movie Iron Eagle was pretty good with Louis Gossett
yeah,
Jr., the Air Force pilot.
yeah,
That one was
yeah.
pretty
That
good.
that was pretty good, man. Then they came out with the sequels with that. A couple of them after that. I'm like, all right, y'all
Uh,
doing a little bit too much.
I
But
just said Iron
the
Eagle, though,
first one,
bro.
this
The
Iron
dude's
Eagle.
in a jet flying and has time to put a cassette tape on his leg and his cassette tape player to listen to his Walkman while he's flying. Like,
All right,
what?
while he's flying. Yeah,
Okay, well, I guess.
like you're a freaking kid, man,
Yeah, and you
going
can
and flying
totally
by the
hear
jet.
that from the jet engine that's like blaring. Like, you're totally locked in because that cockpit is completely soundproof, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, anyway,
The
it's
movies.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Byron
Mhm.
Brown.
Yes, sir.
So what's been going on, man? You have been, what has it been? I don't know, 2, 3 months since the last time we talked. So you know, the first guy to return and do it a second time is you. So
Wow.
yeah,
History has been made
there
on
you
your
go.
podcast that I am the return guy.
Well, look, we haven't made history yet. You know, we're still trying to get the trying to get a audience, but it's
Yeah.
good, man. Just whatever we can do
Oh,
to
it'll,
talk and help.
it'll happen, man. But what's funny is that I bought my microphone yesterday. Just wanted to kind of get started because I want to get me a podcast started, just playing around with stuff, getting my technology, man. Because we have a message to put out there.
For sure,
I
man.
mean, we've all
And
talked.
I tell you what, everybody that I've met, because I do lacrosse down here in Houston, and
Mhm.
just all the people that I know from the Navy that I'll talk to, and I go up, and they always ask you like, "What are you doing?" Matter of fact, when I was at practice last night, the kids that I coach, they were like, "Coach, what do you do for a job?" Right? Like, what do you do? Because I guess I don't know. I guess a ton of people run around talking about their job. I run around and talking about
Mhm.
veterans, right? I wear veteran t-shirts
Yeah,
all the time. Like that's what we do. So I was
that's what
like,
we do.
"Oh, well I do home loans. I help people get home loans." And these kids are like, "So you're rich?" I'm like, "Man, I wish I was rich." Boy, listen
Yeah, you
guys,
know.
I don't get paid the amount that your parents pay to buy the home,
Mhm.
but,
Oh, mhm.
I wish I was rich. And they were like, "So you're not rich?" Does
That's
it matter, dude?
yeah, now it's funny is that it's been a journey for all of us as a team.
Sure.
You and I on the same team doing what we're doing now, and it's been an incredible journey. And a lot of people, man, in my life are starting to pop back in because they're finding out that I do home loans as well. I just got a call from my first ever chief that I had in Navy recruiting,
Mhm.
and like called me,
Who's
"Hey
that?
Brown,"
What's his name?
Chief Ricky Adams. All right,
Oh,
he's
I
in
don't know
Houston,
Ricky Adams.
and he wants to sell his home, so I had to go ahead and get our favorite realtor involved, and then he's
Oh,
gonna
so he's here in
down.
Houston?
He's in Houston, yeah. So
Oh,
Stacy is going to go see him today,
I'm gonna have to
and
call Miss Stacy Johnson and be like, "How you ain't
yeah,
calling me to tell me we still hooking you up?" I tell you what, she's
yeah,
one to hook up though, man. She's
yeah.
a she's a good realtor.
When she called him, they immediately hit it off. They really did,
Yeah.
and
She's a
um,
she's a different type of realtor, bro. She is
yeah,
definitely one that her main objective is to connect with you and
yes,
see what you're
yes,
looking to do and then
yeah,
understand what you want to do and then help you.
too.
Not, hey,
And
let's throw the house in the market for $80,000 more than it's worth. Like she wants to help.
yeah, no, she definitely wants to help. So she's gonna it's gonna reward her because she'll represent on the sale, and then she'll represent him in buying his new home. We'll get his loan done. He's good to go. He's gonna take his proceeds, pay off pretty much a lot of debt, and then he's ready to buy.
That's
Um,
awesome.
man, me and Ricky, me and him were running the streets, man, together, man.
So
I was a second class.
if he was your first chief in Navy recruiting, when he called you, did you have flashbacks like, "Oh shit, do I have is there a shipping problem? Did I make
Actually,
my
I did.
appointments today? Like what's going on?" Right?
Actually, I did, man,
You get
because
that
it's like, hey,
flashback?
look, I'm like, man, we're retired. We're all retired. Hey, Brown, and it's like it brought me. As soon as he did that, it
Yeah.
brought me right back. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes, chief. Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
He like by the name. My
Yeah,
name's Byron. I haven't been
Byron.
Brown for a long time. Just saying.
No, no, not with him. It ain't going. There's certain people that's just where it goes, man. So,
Yeah, bro,
but
but
this.
listen, we accelerated to the same level of I guess you would call it military greatness, man. So his name ain't Chief no more. Shit. What's his first name?
Yeah.
Joe, Ben, Walter. I'm gonna call you that. I don't
Don't call you.
what are we talking
Yeah.
about?
Nah. But I have so much respect for him, man. I mean, we
Yeah.
go way back. I don't mind. As just certain people, man, that hey, look,
Yeah.
that guy, for me, man, he was a real good mentor to me, man. I mean, my success in recruiting, that I owe a lot to him. So give him that respect. So, but this kind of leads me into kind of what we're doing right now. We're really kind of realtor focused, and I've been talking to a lot of realtors these
Yeah.
days, and it's funny that the relationships that you've built from back in the day when you were doing, me being a realtor is really coming back because a lot of those people trust me and saying, hey, let's talk VA, and we did the class yesterday, and you'd be surprised is that there's just still a lot of misconceptions about the VA loan. I'm
For
in a
sure.
in a transaction right now, and just the fact that people think that we do like we're doing the appraisals, and this misconceptions on how the loan process go, period, man. And how once we go out there, I want to go ahead and use this platform, I'm pretty sure you do as well, as this really not only just it's not just about the VA loan, but educating on the mortgage process. I actually wrote a blog, and put it out there. And people are actually looking at it, man, in regards to, hey, trust your realtors and trust your loan officers. The process can be what it's going to be. All right. But then, even when we go back to the realtor side, you're thinking that they're thinking that you could just put the gas on something, and sometimes you just can't. You can't go ahead, put your foot on the gas pedal and make something happen that, you got to allow it to go through the process, man. So, from the last time you and I talked to up until now, man, it's just really been learning and education on my end, but also educating others on, hey, look, I know that you want things to get done when you want them to get done. They're not going to get done when you want them to get done all the time, and
For sure.
uh, it's been a growing process, man, and I do see the growth in our team, man. I mean, we're doing that amazing, man. So, this that's just where we are,
Well,
and I,
think about the dynamic that's there, Byron. I mean, if you take a look
mhm,
at how that works, man, and anything you do, and it doesn't just have to be um, like the civilian world, it doesn't have to be necessarily corporate America, any of that. But the deal is
mhm,
always if you bring like minded individuals together for a same goal or cause, and they all
mhm,
and the funny part is we don't all have the same background growing up, but we've got the same background of what
mhm,
we did as a career to start, and so we learned a lot
absolutely,
of how to push forward. So it's amazing to put all of those same people in the room,
mhm,
get them working together, and when they start to work together, you just see that it moves forward. And the thing
that's true.
that's amazing about it is, there's quite a few people that have joined our team that we talk to. Like I
Mhm,
think I don't feel like I just met you, right? I feel
that's
like
true.
I've known you for a bit, and you have that instant kind of connection, right? So it makes it really good. But
You
yeah,
know, it
man,
was
it's
yeah, it was great, man, that we all got together in Houston.
mhm.
And one thing that I was realizing, I was like, and David always give us crap, man, about Army, Navy, whatever. And I'm like, dude, do you realize that you have four NCs on your team?
Yeah, man.
And the fact of the matter is that the NC community, man, we're spread out all over the world, all over, but we're still a small community,
Sure.
and we all kind of like got a creed in how we do stuff and who we are, and I'm like,
Mhm.
do you know what you have on your team, buddy? I mean,
Yeah, no, he
because
knows, and that's why he's got a mix of it. It
yeah,
works out good. But I mean, that just goes into the future of things, like you were talking about, working with realtors and working out in the public. I mean, the
hmm
biggest thing that I'm excited for, not even the job that I do every day. The thing that I'm excited about is the opportunity now to get more out there, right? Like using a podcast, for example, or
hmm
going to events in the community or with companies
yeah,
all over,
hmm
networking, right? Going to events where you can network with other professionals. It's just amazing to just see how that works. Like I went to a networking event last week with
yeah,
my wife.
hmm
It was an all veteran networking event, and you already know how
hmm
we do it. It was at a
yeah,
distillery. We ain't doing nothing at
yeah,
like a restaurant. Like we're
uh,
going like so we went to one of the local, like there's a brewery on one side, there's a distillery on the other side, and
yeah,
it was an all veteran one. I mean, as soon as you walk in the door, my wife is by nature like if I get into the room, I'm really not going to come up and talk to you, right? She's not like me. Like I
yeah,
don't even care, right? I'll talk to everybody, but
uh-huh,
she isn't like that. But as soon as you engage in conversation with her, she'll sit there and talk to you forever and listen and do that. But what was
hmm
great is as soon as you walk in the door, you're catching up and talking and asking people what service they're in and all that. And then at this networking event, the moment that, and of course it was me, I said, "So, what does everybody do for a job?" And then they start going around to talk about the things they do for a job. And from that point, it was really interesting to see that everybody wanted to learn what everybody did. And then there
yeah,
was a huge pocket of everybody standing there. Well, how can I help you? And then in turn, they were
hmm
asking, well, how can I help you? And so just, connecting with people and talking to them. And, that's the biggest key out there is, we don't have to, constantly look at what we're doing for a job. Just being out there and being that advocate is going to, you
yeah,
know, bring dividends to what you're doing later in the future. So
yeah,
if
and
you ever
it's
have a
fun.
chance, I highly recommend any veteran networking event that you find because a
Uh,
lot of people
uh,
don't realize there's tons of veterans that do things that you're just not aware that they do. Or there's probably people working in companies right now that people just don't realize they're a veteran, and they have a lot of
hmm
uh, pull's the wrong word for it, but they have a lot of connections and they have a lot of reach. And
yeah,
there's some cases where uh, despite the level of reach they have, there's still more reach we can offer on the other side, right? So
That's true. That's
just
true.
getting out there and talking to people, man.
Man, that was funny is that I went to an event in San Diego back this past December. Century Residential is a military brokerage, so I went there. And funny thing is, one of my old junior sailors was there, and he was like, "Bro," I'm like, man, I hadn't seen this guy like forever, and it was funny, man. It was about 3 or 4 NCs that were there, and then we just started talking, and these guys were just really strictly on the realtor side, and it was amazing that they did not have a lot of knowledge about the VA home loan, and we just sat there for hours talking.
Here's the
It
deal.
was
We already know that NCs are really good at telling people what they can do in college, but we suck at giving all the other benefits. It's not even lie about it right now, dude.
You're
Every
exactly right
recruiter you
about
would ever
that.
see, they would walk up and the kid would walk in the door and be like, "Hey, you want to join the Navy?" They're like, "Yeah, I want to join the Navy." "Well, let me tell you how you can go to college." And the kid's like, "I don't even care about college." But that recruiter is diving in. And then you would ask the recruiter, like, "Is that what they want to do?" He's like, "I don't know, but I sold shit out of him on that one." Like, I know. And he just walked out. He just walked out.
Yeah, you
He
just
didn't,
talked your way right out of a contract. We used to
but
have
that's
that
the
saying,
thing.
don't. Yeah.
Even in the realtor world, even in the regular world, and even in what we do, if you feel like you know something very well, that's all you
Hmm.
wanna talk about. That's it. That's all you wanna
That's
talk
it.
about. You don't wanna talk about
That's
nothing
it.
else because now if I have to talk about something else, I'm going outside of my comfort zone, and
Yeah.
that is not a good place for a lot of people to go to, and so that's another reason why the team that we have built is so unique because there's so many different comfort zones that
That's
you
right.
can learn from people on that. So, uh, it's just an advantage for us to be able to jump out of that. But dude, it's funny to see, man. I
Eh,
know a lot of people here too that, I retired with that we talk to and they're getting into different things and just
mhm.
meeting up with them and talking to them and jumping into into the realm of of marketing with them or talking with them or networking with them or joining them in
Mhm.
causes they're doing. There's just so
Yeah.
much how can I support you? You can support me, and then you just roll with it back and forth. And then,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, what I found for me is, man, I'm almost in the realm like with all the people I know in Houston that I'm at here, you could create your
Mhm.
own Chiefs mess of retired people that are there that
Come
you could
eh,
start that business networking group with a
mhm.
group of Chiefs that are retired. And of what we know about Chiefs is, we were you're in the middle. We're mid-level management. Like we weren't
Yeah.
upper level management, but we got the
Yeah.
respect and we were treated as if we were upper level management
Upper
because
management.
we
Because we
we
got
trained
shit
the
done. We got
junior and we developed the
yeah.
senior, and so we have that ability to network, figure it
Yeah.
out, and push. And so, that's been my like one of my goals now is as I meet people and I meet chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Starting to put together a networking group of chiefs that
Mhm.
are in different sectors because now when we all get
Yeah.
together in a room to network, we're tackling problems versus
Yeah.
trying to give someone business, right? So what
Yeah.
issues do you have? Let us help you fix them. And then at the end of the day, in the long run, all that other stuff will come.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's funny to me, man, is it seemed like everybody that I know that's that's a chief or above that was in recruiting come to Houston and retire and move to Houston.
I mean,
It's
it's
like,
Texas, bro.
I
Why
mean,
would you not want to live
and
here?
not just Texas, it's Houston, man. It's like everybody. I'm like everybody I know that most of the people that I know, man, and this when they retire, they move to Houston, man.
Well, let's
So
just let's
uh,
just call it you haven't woke up yet. As soon as you wake up from your nap, you can go ahead and move down here too. There's plenty
I,
of space, right?
I'm actually thinking about it because when I was down there, I was like, hmm, this is nice. I could see. There's only so much to Dallas and Fort Worth, man. I mean, and I don't get me wrong, I like it, but
Yeah,
there was
for
just a
sure.
whole lot more to. It's a whole lot more to Houston, man. That really, I'm thinking about it. I'm going to buy a house again this summer coming up, and I'm
Yeah,
trying to figure out where I'm going to be. And I just put Houston on the list, and I'm like,
for
wow, I
sure.
can really get a
Well, I
lot of
mean, just
bang for
think
my
about
buck
it.
down there.
If you look at the breakdown of our team dynamic, right? If you have a group of
Mhm.
people that work on the team that live in an area and they can all get together
Mhm.
often and sit in the same
Yeah.
room and brainstorm and go through things with each other, then you have that direct connection. It's almost like we're on the boat or we're in the district
Mhm.
and we're going
Yeah.
to the district for our like an all hands or a production meeting or something like that. Because
Things
that's
like
what our
that.
training
Mhm.
was is everybody getting together, let's develop and talk and let's get through some stuff. And then once we're done with that, you go out afterwards and you get to know everybody. It's not a
Yeah.
all work, no, and it wasn't play. It was more all work and let's network, right? And just the
Mhm.
opportunity to talk and be around people, you get to learn
Yeah.
more in that relaxed setting than you do in the training setting. So
Yeah.
come on, bring
Yeah,
it.
I tell you, man, one thing about us meeting and us going down, it just really solidified the team of being on the team. Is you know how you get that sense of being on the team and everything. Like when we were in and we were a part of something, we were a part of it's kind of like a brotherhood now, man. I mean, I see you guys as my brothers, and it's like like I was telling David the other day, when are we meeting again? Because it was just great, that we got together. But now it's that bond that we have as a team, and we all want to see each other do well, and we all, we're here, man. We got stuff in place, man, to help each other out, and that's what I love. It kind of gives me that fact of that, hey, man, I'm a part of something. It's not even just about mortgage anymore. I mean, it's about mortgage, but not just about mortgage. It's really, man, we are a group of military veterans trying to help our brothers and sisters out there, man. And I just feel like that I'm a power. It gives me that feeling like when I was back in uniform again and being a part of a team.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, and that's just part of when you finally find that thing that works, you go into it, so it's good, man. But
Hmm.
what else do you have going on? I mean, the Steelers aren't in glory no more. Ben's gone. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what are you doing now? Like, what's on the map
As
for you?
far
What kind of things are you
far as
getting into?
as far as football, man, I mean, it's interesting to see what we're gonna do if we're gonna draft a quarterback or we're gonna sign a veteran.
Y'all better
There's
go
so
after
much
Russell
more.
Wilson and stop playing around.
Uh, you know, I don't know what the Steelers are gonna do, man. They surprise me all the time, man. I mean, our GM is getting ready to go ahead and sign off as well. We're supposed to be getting a new guy. I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers just roll with who they have, and that's just how they do, which will upset me, But
But that's what they've
um,
always done.
that's what they do. The Steelers they don't make a lot of changes. They're very consistent on what they're doing. They stick with people.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
Oh, for sure.
A guy can be consistently bad and they'll stick with them.
Yeah.
They give me you'll get with the Steelers. You'll get a equal chance to go ahead and they try to change yourself. And if you don't, they'll give you a good 2 to 3 years, and then they'll
Yeah,
just
you're allowed to
go
make
ahead and
mistakes there, and because they
yeah.
know that you can come around
Yeah,
it. That's definitely true.
it's a I would say a very stable organization. They don't fire coaches. Coaches retire. Um, so when you have stability, sometimes you'll have success, man. I mean,
For
dude, we
sure.
just fell in the playoffs, man. We wasn't supposed to be there, and I kind of look at that, as when in life, when you have stability, success will be knocking at the door. You'll have some sort of success.
Yeah.
As far as anything else that I got going on, man, I'm actually not this weekend, but next weekend, I'm riding to San Antonio to go see the facilities for Grunt Style.
Really?
You saw my Grunt Style shirts, man.
Mhm.
I'm actually going to be promoting your stuff too, man.
Oh,
So
nice.
stand by. All
For
right.
sure.
I'm gonna be calling you because I got a group of guys that want to order. All
Okay.
right. I got you six, man. So
Look, man,
don't,
2 for 40 right now on the website. All you gotta do is
oh
go to the
man.
website. They're 2 for 40. If you
Yeah.
buy, there's a hero edition shirt out there right now, Superman blue
Hmm.
with a red on it. If you buy that
Oh man.
shirt, you can get any other shirt on the site and go 2 for 40
Don't you
through
got you got
through
black with the
President's
green?
Day.
You got black with the green lettering on there too, as well, right? Don't you have those T-shirts as well, or is
No
it
black
just
and
yeah?
green yet, right?
Not yet.
So
Okay.
the deal with it, right? Got your six. The t-shirt company is just the biggest deal on that is promoting not just the military, right? So we all served, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
There's a ton of people out there that um that back veterans, and they should, because veterans,
Hmm.
they volunteer, they serve the military, they protect the country, they keep our freedoms. But when I was looking in the marketplace, there's a couple, but there's not a lot that also recognize and support like the first responders, right? And not
That's
just
true.
law enforcement and firefighters, because they're important, but you always hear about them too. We wanted
Yeah,
to add in there the dispatcher, the corrections
man.
officer, the nurses, the EMTs,
Hmm.
the EMSs, those people that, like,
Yeah.
if you go out in an ambulance and you go to a scene of a car wreck, or there was just on the news every day, someone's getting into an altercation and there's a shot person, or they got a wound. Like, those
Hmm.
EMTs are saving lives, man, and
Yeah.
they're just like military guys. Like, they do it
Hmm.
because they love it, but they don't get that recognition. So our whole line is built up, right? Like, we have the hero shirt is what we call it, because we made it, that blue and red.
Yeah.
But we also have a hero line, right? And the hero
Hmm.
line it's a gray shirt that, each flag or each color on that shirt is denoted to um a different sector, right? So, like, we have a
Yeah.
yellow shirt. It's got a yellow hero's image, and it's yellow all the way around. And that yellow
Hmm.
signifies the dispatchers, right? So if you're a dispatcher, like,
Hmm.
that shirt's for you. Red, if you're a firefighter, it's for you. Blue, it's for law enforcement. White, it's for nurses and
Hmm.
EMSs, right? We wanted to make sure that we hit all those categories. And in those shirts, we chose not to do the military color, because we really
Yeah.
want to emphasize that we're supporting everybody, because the other
Body.
shirts that we have on the site, the
Hmm.
original and then the desert brown color, those completely match being in the
Yeah.
military. So we're trying to get that mix, just to let everybody out there that that's the whole thing for the company: same flag, same oath. And that just simply
Hmm.
means that every one of them, doctors, nurses, firefighters, EMS, EMTs, dispatchers, military members, all of them, they all took an oath to protect and serve something. But that
Yeah.
protecting and serving that they're doing under the oath with the flag means that they've taken that oath to either protect their communities, protect
Hmm.
people in the community, keep the community safe, or keep the country free, right? So everybody
Absolutely.
in that arena, they match like that. So that's why we're going. But oh, don't worry, man. Becky is she's hot on the press, and she's creating like crazy. She's got a couple
Yeah.
more shirts coming out for the summer that I think man,
Yeah.
people are going to be excited about. I'm not going to
Yeah.
talk about them
It,
today, but there's a couple of them that there's going to be a lot of people out there that are like, "Oh my god, I
yeah.
remember that." And then it's, just trying to appeal to, the demographic of all of us. Like, we have a certain language and a certain way that we roll, and you know,
Hmm.
it's just an idea she had. We jumped on it, and we'll see where it goes.
And it's just funny to me. And I like that. I like that movement and the message and everything that you guys are trying to put out there, man. Because exactly what I wanted to take my brand and go ahead and do. This is why, I'm we're supporting your brand. I want to support Grunt Style. I want to go out there. I really wanted to make 2022 about me going out with my brand and supporting and putting that message out there. It's not going to talk to people to look for a deal, but this, or anything like that. But I just want to put a message out there. I really want to go ahead and say, hey, this is what I support. This is what my team supports. This is what we do. And
Yeah.
just really go ahead and touch that community there. Because as you said, it's just not just about the military, active duty, and veterans, man, but it's about the law enforcement. It's about the firefighters, the EMT. It's about that person that's in dispatch. And it's funny is that I've done that type of work,
Oh yeah.
obviously, that, before I was Navy, I was Air Force. My
Yep.
first job, I was a firefighter. All
Yeah.
right. I've been in burning buildings. All right. I've been in a dispatch situation. I helped one base build a dispatch center. All right. So I know that. And at the same time, and when you roll the rescue truck, and the rescue truck is the truck that actually goes out and actually, man, you scraping people out of cars and off the ground and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I've seen all of that, at the same time working with law enforcement, working with law enforcement on base. Believe it or not, people that think, oh, it's just a military cop. No, when you have a law enforcement individual that's on base they're doing that job too. So you have to respect it. If I'm ever in a restaurant and I see like a Texas State Trooper, or I see any local law enforcement, you're not paying for your lunch. I'm paying for it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm doing that. You know, I did that with a couple of Texas State troopers. I was in the Chipotle lane. It was like I was like, these guys here, their money is no good here. They were
Yeah.
like, what? You know, and I let them know my background and everything. And you know, we snapped a picture. And I wasn't doing it for the photo op, man. But I wanted these guys to know, hey, man, you know, when we talk about military, you know, we talk about individuals that deploy and they're doing what they're doing so they can come home. These guys are going out because they're trying to get home safe every night,
Yeah, they're
every
deploying every
night,
day, bro.
every day, you
Yeah,
know. So you have to
for sure.
respect that, you know. And a lot of them are under a lot of scrutiny, man, for their jobs. And it's a difficult job, man. It's not just going out there to doing what you're doing, but it's difficult for the fact that you're going out there and sometimes you're scrutinized for what you do. And hey, man, if you pull over to somebody, man, well, he did this wrong and that. So, man, you got to do nothing but respect that. All right. So
For sure.
it's like, you know, that's just really the message. That's just really the thing that I want to focus on this year. And it's not, you know, hey, we're putting out the message and educating people about VA home loans and stuff, but we also want to go ahead and just as our platform to use and support anybody that's in a place of service. You know, I have a tagline that says, you know, I'm serving those who serve. You know,
Mhm.
and you know that this doesn't mean those that put on that uniform, man, and serve in the military. But you know, you got those that serve their communities, serve their states, and everything like that. And we really want to go ahead and really focus on making sure that they're taken care of.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a huge, segment, right? Like there's a lot of people that
Mhm.
do a lot of things that and again, for what we're trying to do with Got Your Six culture is just not enough. I mean, you go to the doctor every day, right? And
That's true.
and people are going every day and people are going in there to, because you obviously have a problem, right? And when you walk in, like the doctor's the one that is ultimately making the decision and saves lives every day, and we all know that. But it has to
Mhm.
start somewhere, and it starts with the nurse. The nurse walks in, the nurse is taking your blood
Mhm.
pressure, the nurse is asking you the questions on how you're doing. The nurse is in some cases asking, so what's going on today? You start talking to them, and believe it or not, in
Mhm.
some cases the nurses are talking with the doctors about what the
Yeah,
patient
that's
is
true.
saying. And there's cases
Mhm.
where the nurse goes because of their experience, like, I think it might be this. The doctor looks at it, and that's the way they roll. But again,
Mhm.
that's stuff that happens behind the scenes, and you just never know about it. Nurses are
Never
working
know.
3 20-hour days in a row to take 2 days off. And people are like, oh, 3 days on, 2 days off. That's easy. Like, no way, man. Like,
No, no, it's
20
not.
hours a day in a super high stressful situation where the reality is, one decision could go bad in so many different ways. Like, they have an obligation and a duty. And the same thing with EMS as EMTs. Like, they're there, but just recognizing that those people are trying to do the same thing that everybody else is doing is just super important. And so that's why
Mm.
when Becky had the idea, I told her, man, I was like, let's do it. And she was like,
Yeah.
and she goes, I don't know anything about running a business. And I was like, well, I guess you could say I do, but I don't either, but we're going to do it. So we just started Googling, man. And so when I'm off and I'm not working my regular
Mhm.
job, which is helping veterans and doing the loans, I'm helping her, man. We're
Mhm.
doing what we can to help. And we appreciate everybody that's supported us thus far. We've got a couple people on our team that supported us. We really appreciate it. Like, it doesn't go unnoticed. Like, it's just
Mhm.
appreciative. And hopefully, we're not trying to be billionaires, but we do want to just get those things out there so people can see, like, we want to
Yeah.
thank everybody, right? It's a big
Mhm.
call to thank you for your service. You hear it from
Yeah.
military veterans all the time. And there's some cases where a lot of law enforcement people, they get the thank you for your service, firefighters to thank you for everything you do. But we really need to start thanking the dispatcher that's on the call, that the person's
Man,
stressed out and they've got to get whether it's the law enforcement guy, they got to get the fire trucks there, they've got to get the EMTs there. They got to make snap decisions to get it done quick. That
that's
dispatcher is
true.
in just as much stress as everybody else. And I don't think a lot of, people realize that it takes a special person to do that job too, because
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right
Oh
now, if
yeah.
somebody calls me cursing me out and I'm trying to help you, I'm gonna be like, why are you yelling at me? But they're
Mhm.
ultra calm. So it's good, man.
Man, I remember my first experience as a dispatcher on base. You know, and we are 911. You know, somebody called 911. Those calls were coming to us. It was,
Hmm.
you know, and sometimes, you know, most of the calls we were getting sometimes alarm activation or, hey man, we may get a traffic collision and it might be a minor fender bender or something like that. It was just before March Air Force Base was closing as a full-time active duty base, and it was they were transitioning over to a reserve base. The base gym where they were rebuilding it, and a guy left his welding torch in there, and the whole gym caught on fire. And I
Oh,
remember getting that call from law enforcement on base, and that guy had a level of stress because, oh
yeah.
my God, there is a major, major fire on base. And I remembering I had to remain calm. I had to type everything as it came in. If someone said I'm taking a step left, I had to type that into the log. My point is, man, is that it was a stressful situation, and
Yeah.
I had a battalion chief that came in, and he was like assisting, helping me with everything, and had to be a two-person thing in that room. On top of the fact that I knew what stress the firefighters were going through. A couple of those guys got hurt. We had to get EMS to roll out to help them out. And you're right. It's like when people think of thank you for your service, they're not really totally, man, folks. They think that's a military thing, man.
Mhm.
It's like you don't understand, man, when there's a brush fire in California, man, and you got guys rolling in trucks and they got um shovels and stuff and they're fighting the forest fire, man, and you come back, you don't know what they just did,
They're literally
they
fighting the fire, like, in the ring, like, they're next to
and
it. Yeah, like, that's
they're
they gotta
next to it,
dig
like
those
trying
breaks.
to
They gotta yeah.
yeah, trying to save homes, man, and do stuff like that, man. I mean, you got to understand is when, you have a disturbance and you call the police. All right. First of all, man, the person you call is the first person that's dealing with the incident, and
Yeah.
they got to make snap decisions on how they're going to go ahead and have somebody respond. Then you got the responders going. And as I said earlier, these guys go to work every day. And that's not just the police officers, that's the firefighters, that's whoever. And with our nurses and everything and what they're dealing with this pandemic going on, they're some of them can't even go home.
Sometimes, yeah.
Just they can't even go home, because you got doctors and frontline medical workers that they can't go home because they were just working in a COVID unit. So you can't go home because you've been around that. So you have to go somewhere else. Some of them are not seeing their family. So it's like they're deployed, and it's
For
like,
sure, for sure, and that's
we
the
have to
beautiful
appreciate.
beautiful thing about that is a lot of the people, they volunteer for it because they really wanna help people, and so again, we just wanna appreciate what they're doing and,
Yeah.
let them know that people recognize everything that they're doing for us because, they've helped us get through this, and I think we're on the tail end of it, and it's gonna get better soon, and it's
Hmm.
100% because of the efforts they put in, and that's a great thing, so
Well,
well, what
know
about you?
this.
So, you went and bought a microphone yesterday.
I did, man, because I want to go ahead and start doing this. I want to go
Okay.
ahead and start having conversations with people, man. I want to go ahead and start, bringing a dialogue. I have a brand myself, the Brown Group, and that brand is not just about selling real estate or doing mortgages or doing anything like that. I really want to start touching on things, man, as far as what we're talking about. I really want, I'm really about people to, when they're personal, their personal development and growth. I feel like you should have a project for yourself, where you're growing yourself. So I
Yeah,
really want to start having conversations with people about entrepreneurship and about, um, personal development and going out and encouraging people to do things.
yeah,
Part of being, when we were recruiters, man, I mean, we wasn't just putting people in the Navy. I felt like I was a motivator, a counselor. I was everything, man, to my recruits, man. And I love talking to people, and I love seeing people do well, so buying a microphone, I was doing a lot. I bought this iPad Pro. I was trying to go ahead and see how can I, what can I do to go ahead and level up and go ahead and use this microphone and everything to
yeah.
my advantage and using the technology to my advantage. So it was just like in the test phase, want to roll that out. Going to be doing a lot of video and a lot of blogging, set to also
Ah,
in 3
Hey,
weeks
just
going.
just do me a favor. Don't be making those crazy makeup videos, all right?
No, no, we would
I mean,
I
you
won't
said
be
you're
doing
gonna
that.
have, don't be blogging don't be blogging no makeup
No, it's
videos. I
just,
mean, you could do it if you
you
want
know.
to. Probably make a lot of money, but I'm just kidding, man. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
no, that's not what we're gonna do. I just want to go ahead. There's a uniqueness about myself. People that know me know that there's only one Byron Brown, and I come a certain way, and I'm gonna go ahead and put myself out there, man. A lot of
That's
times,
good, man.
when
I'm
you
I'm
start.
really glad to hear that. I mean, I've been doing this for a little bit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and to be honest with you, 100%, other than putting the episodes up to put them
Mm-hmm.
out there, to put them in all like into the hosting site and then putting them in and putting them up so people can see them.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should, but I
Yeah.
don't really look at like how many people are following it, how many people are listening to it,
Yeah.
because I just want to make sure that I put the stuff out there. And like at some point someone may see it, but I've had a couple people text me that I served with, and one of the guys texted me the other day, and he was like, "Man, I'm listening to your podcast," and I was like, "Oh, for real?" And he goes,
Yeah.
"Yeah, look at you sitting on here trying to be all professional." I'm like, "Well, maybe I learned something then." We already know, like, I mean, I'm just having it's the same as, and they say it all the time, and they're like, it's just like when we were in, if we had a question or anything we wanted, we would walk down the hall and come in your office and say, "Hey, let's go over this." And it's
Mm-hmm.
this platform is that from being in the military is just
Yeah.
you got something you want to talk about or you want to work through something. I mean, let's do it.
Let's talk
Like
about it. Yeah.
I think
I mean.
already, I've talked to insurance agents, I've talked to home inspectors, I've talked to realtors. I'm talking
Mhm.
to one of our brothers from the Navy that is a senior chief that he now is into
Mhm.
what you're talking about. He's doing professional development and mentorship. I talked to one of
Mhm.
my buddies that he's just
Yeah.
retired. But it's just
Living a life.
conversations to let people see all the different aspects. And, I
Mhm.
don't care what we talk about. We can talk about anything. And anything that you talk about always leads into something productive. And so that's what we
That's
do,
true.
man. So I'm
Yeah,
excited
and
for you to do it. Like, so
yeah.
let's do this. When are you launching it? When's the first one?
You know what? I'm going to the grunt style. That's really where it's going to be launched when I go there, and actually see, and I'm like you, man. I'm not doing this for likes. I'm not doing this for
Sure.
follows. I'm not, because when you have that mindset, because if you're trying to get something out of get something out of what you're trying to do, it doesn't,
Mhm.
it stresses you out. I'm going to have fun, man.
Oh, for
If
sure.
one person watches it, that's fine. But for me, the journey is going to be fun. The relationships that I'm going to
Mhm.
have doing this is going to be great. And, so we're going to start that. I got, one of these things, man, it's like a toggle, man, where you put your phone on and you can walk around with it. That's how the videos are gonna really a lot of the stuff is gonna be made from the cell phone, man, from
So you're gonna do
doing some
like
stuff with
a video blog, basically, a vlog? That's what
pretty
you're gonna be doing pretty much?
apps. Yeah. And
Okay.
also, man, I'm gonna be doing some Facebook and Instagram lives. I got some guys, man, that are realtors and a couple of recruiters that I know, man, that are actually still serving that want to go ahead and want to get on. And we won't even just talk about more. We're gonna talk Navy. We're gonna talk Navy and Navy recruiting, man.
I just
How it
like
is
telling
today.
stories. Let's talk about
Man,
that one time that this happened, that you did that. Dude, I'm telling you, that's the good stuff, man. You can relive,
man,
things in
man,
the past, but yeah.
talk about times, man, where I'm walking in this district. I'm an NC2, and I couldn't even walk past the CR's office, man. We're like, hey, Brown, I'm like, "Hey,"
You're like,
them
"Dude,
kind
I
of
checked
stories.
in yesterday. There's no way I'm in trouble already."
Yeah, what did I do? It just and what I tell, because I got a lot of I actually, man, was doing a loan for a guy that's just became a recruiter in the Houston area, man. And
Mhm.
when we first started talking, man, and I was like saying, don't be fooled by, this is my perspective on it, by how mean a chief recruiter is. He really wants you to do good. He's just being a certain way just because he got to drive production. But I,
Yeah, but, that dynamic has shifted a little bit though, right? I
hmm
mean,
yeah,
uh rightfully so. I think they
yeah,
realized that the way that, production was pushed back in those days, I mean, it really wasn't pushing production. I mean, people were successful, but were they successful because they were motivated, or were they successful because they were just like, I don't know what else I'm going to do, right? Like, I don't,
That's true.
there's a difference between productivity through
Mhm.
motivation and productivity through fear. And sometimes back then, a lot of people back then led by fear. That was kind of the
That's
dynamic of
true.
what happened back then. But I mean, you'd be surprised to walk into those same places today and see the level at which they've kind of spread it out. And so I mean, there's been a big push to
Mhm.
professionally develop people versus um just throwing the gauntlet, right? Like you can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And listen, there was times where before I retired, I was that guy. I was that guy. I was like,
Mhm.
"You guys
I
don't
was
even
that
know what
guy too.
pressure is. You don't know what pressure
Yeah.
is. You know what it's like to go get, like 10 appointments a day and have to put in, 13, 15, 18 contracts with 3 recruiters and all this, like telling them like all this stuff." But what's crazy is I had a chief recruiter that sat me down and he was like, "Listen, man, like I want you to think about it this way. Yes, you had to put 18 people in the Navy, but you already know we could say as long as they could breathe, walk, and get into the MEPS and they knew how to spell their name, they were good to go, right? Like there wasn't a big push. I said, you got to think about these
Mhm.
guys today.
Yeah.
They can only like cryptology, nuclear engineering, advanced electronics. They're looking for people to go into highly technical, skilled
Feel.
jobs. It's a different
Mhm.
dynamic of people you gotta find. We were just looking for the sheer volume, whereas nowadays, there has to be a quality to it because
That's true.
of the advances in technology in the Navy, right? They don't need
Yeah.
1,000
Just
people to
don't
run a ship,
they don't
but they
just
need
want bodies, yeah.
yeah, now
They
they
don't just
need
want bodies.
yeah, people that can do it on the technology end of it, and so I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." So then, again, as good people do or good leaders, you walk in the door after that, and now the conversation wasn't, "You don't know what pressure is." It's like, "Hey, I got it that you guys are under pressure." I said, "But you also understand that your chief or your NC1, your LPO, like the people that you're working with that have been around for a long
Mhm.
time, they knew a different pressure than you did,
That's
right?
right.
Like you guys are pressured because you've got to write 3 contracts and you've got to find a needle in a haystack. Well, they were
Mhm.
pressured because they needed to fill the dump truck.
That's right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
And so like helping them realize and kind of
Mhm.
understand the difference between what one set of pressures is to what another, it
Another
helped
one.
bridge the gap. And so that was one thing that helped do it. And that's just like this stuff we're doing now, man. We're going through it right now. The
Yeah.
housing market in general is going through a shift, just like you go through a shift in everything else. And it's going to be, look, man, we're about
And
to go through 9 rounds, bro.
yeah,
9
and we gotta
rounds.
adapt and adjust.
Don't get knocked out in round 2. You just
No,
got to
no,
keep
man.
going, and it's going to be a learning experience. And so
And
again,
that's one thing in talking about Navy recruiting where we go ahead and say way back that how it evolved. Because yes, man, I went through a point in Navy recruiting where we were knocking on doors to a point where people were knocking on our doors. We were turning people down. So now, like you're saying, is that now you got to find that quality individual. We don't want you to just put a body in. Oh yeah, you can still put a body in, but we want a quality body
oh
in.
yeah, man.
It's
Like they
like, man,
need
we
all that other stuff, right? They need
yeah.
non-technical jobs in the Navy, but the
Hmm.
reality to the military today is
Yeah.
even people in non-technical jobs are extremely highly educated individuals. It's not like you can't walk around in the Navy anymore and be like, "Oh, you're a cook." Like, do you realize that
Yeah.
cooks in the Navy go to a culinary institute? Like, there's some cooks in the Navy that are French pastry chefs. They're not just
Hmm.
throwing peas and carrots in a pot, throwing it in water, and slopping it on your plate. These dudes are
Yeah.
creating art out of
Yeah.
pastry. Like, they're really
Yeah.
learning a super highly marketable skill.
Yeah.
How many
I
people watch these dudes on TV cook every day?
it's funny, man. I was working for this school, the Cordon Bleu, for a while, man, right when I got out the Navy. And I met up with a Coast Guard recruiter, and she wanted to come and try to recruit some of the students to come in the Coast Guard. And she was showing me some of the stuff, man. First of all, the training that they go through was very similar, like you sending someone to culinary school.
Mhm.
But when they get out and they get on like one of their little, one of the little cutters, little ships and stuff like that, man, it was like they were running their own restaurant, man. They were like the executive chef of that particular place. They come up with the meat. I'm like, dang, man, you're like you
Yeah.
said, you're not just a cook.
Mhm.
Like you are a freaking chef, man. I
I
mean,
mean, well,
you.
just imagine submarines in the Navy. That's the community
Hmm.
forever in the military that they legitimately work like that. The
Yeah,
CSs, which are the culinary specialists, used to be mess
specialist.
management
Hmm.
specialists. Those guys
Hmm.
are are buying the groceries, they're planning the meal,
Hmm.
and they're cooking for the crew. And the
Yeah.
reason they can be a little more creative is there's less people on the ship, so it's not as much of a volume cook, but they're planning that menu. I mean, we talk to people all the time, and again, it just it's bad. Like
Yeah.
bosun mates and cooks, like in the Navy, is are things that you look at that people would look down on those way back when we were coming in. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
if you had to do that, like, oh my gosh, uh, what happened? Did you get in trouble? You know what I mean? Well, nowadays when you look at it, I mean, there's culinary specialists that I served with in Navy recruiting that they were like, yeah, I cooked at the White House, I cooked at Camp
Yeah.
David, and I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we made all those dignitary dinners. They don't hire executive professional Food Network chefs to do that. We got people in the military from all the branches. It's a joint service kitchen and they cook. They make the president's food. Like they're there. They're serving on that route. They're doing it at
But
Camp
do
David.
you have any idea of when you put that on a resume, all right, and you're
I mean,
going
you're an
back out
executive
and
chef at that point.
you're a freaking executive chef, man.
Exactly.
You cook for a president. That right there is, because when I look at CSs and then when I look at a boats, man, a boats is a utility guy as far as I'm concerned. You can stick a
Oh
boats
man,
anywhere and he's
my
doing stuff,
brother,
man.
my
Hmm.
brother's a retired bosun mate. He's a chief too. And I'm
Yeah,
telling you what, man, those dudes, they run the boat, man. That
they
thing
run the
doesn't it
boat, man.
doesn't run or it doesn't stay in the shape it needs to be if you don't have those guys on there, and it's the oldest
Yeah,
rating in the Navy. It's the oldest
yeah.
rating because
Well
back in the day,
respected, man.
yeah, you needed ship hands, you needed deck hands, you needed people to keep the maintenance on the ship because if you didn't do that, it's not floating, it ain't going nowhere. And so
Aware,
nowadays, those bosun
exactly.
mates, but you know how it goes, man. They own
Yeah,
everything, it's all theirs,
yeah.
but, they're
And it's
that's probably one of the most proud ratings in the Navy. Those dudes are ultra proud.
old school. A lot of them get that tattoo right on their hand, man.
Look,
The boats. The
yeah,
boats. And knowing that what it. And this is the thing, and this is why I say, because this talk is going to turn into a Navy recruiting message, for people, man. Because understand, like what we did as recruiters really profoundly helps us in what we're doing right now as MLOs, man.
for sure.
So when we're talking about a CS and what they're doing, man, when they're going out and they actually want to go ahead and maybe open up their own restaurant or work as an executive chef, a lot of their experience they got was doing what they were doing on the boat. All right. So when people are saying, "Oh man, well, what can I get out of the military? What's the advantage?" I mean, look, you and I talked about some things as far as what's going to help each other out as far as what we're doing right now, and a lot of the stuff you and I talked about is what we got from being Navy recruiters. All
Sure.
right. I could tell you this, man. I just spoke of my experience as far as being a firefighter, being I was a firefighter, EMT, and all of that. Um, in one job because of what I experienced and what I did. I fought grass fires too, man. I've seen it all, man. So it
Yep.
gives me the respect of what people are doing in the civilian world. All of that because of our military background. Like I said, I want to turn this into a recruiting message, but at the end of the day, man, it was the best decision that I ever made to go ahead and put that uniform on. So it
For
it
sure.
gives me a greater appreciation for those who have it on, but also a greater appreciation of those who wear uniforms from other different fields as well. All right. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. I wouldn't be able to have this because I had a fear of actually speaking in front of people until I became a recruiter.
Oh, they changed that in recruiting school, like day
Real
one.
quick, yeah,
Yeah.
you gonna get thrown up in there, man. And now I thrive on speaking to people, man. I did a radio show. Me and one of my fellow NC1s, when we both NC1s, man. We did a sports talk show at a community college, man. It was also to create Navy awareness, but we had fun with it, man. We talked basketball, football, everything. The way I'm speaking now, and the way I am now, man, was due to doing that. Did the Navy open up that opportunity for me to have that, man, at a community
For sure.
college where, man, we were getting names and numbers, and we wasn't even trying. So the whole thing is when you're trying to do this stuff and you're not really looking for a, I'm not looking for anything, man. When I talk about what I'm getting ready to do, I'm not looking for anybody to hand me a book of business or anything like that. I'm looking out there to go ahead and put, create a platform to start conversation, to give greater appreciation, man, to some of these, some people that are out there doing their thing. We want to say thank you, man. That's why I support, I got your six. I will be different because I support the move to what you guys are doing. And this year, man, I just really want to go ahead. It's all about going to be living life and actually putting the message out there for me, man, and what I stand for and what my platform is and what it's been.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about just the way things work as a whole, I think the biggest thing that I appreciate and know, like if like we're talking about this could be a commercial for the military, right? In some sense at
Hmm.
the end, is like if you're looking to do something, military service is probably one of the greatest things you can do. And the only reason for
Hmm.
that is not because the biggest thing they're going to give you a skill, right? You're going to get a
Yeah.
skill in something,
Hmm.
and every skill that you learn can be transferable in some way. But the biggest part that happens, man, when you join the military, you get education benefits, you get free medical, right? You can't, like, come on. I got it. They're military doctors, but you can go ahead and go find some minute clinic with no insurance out there, and you can't find a better trained person in the
Yeah.
military, in their learning. But you get that, you get access to facilities on the base. How much do people pay for gym memberships right now in the civilian world to be able to get
That's
fit?
true.
The military makes you work out. They tell you that you have to be somewhere at a certain time. They're going to and make you sure you understand what responsibility is, what accountability is. Really,
Hmm.
without even the job, take away the job, you're going to learn. Don't even look
That's
at that.
right.
Look at the life skills that it's going to give you, and it's
That's
going
right,
to prepare you to be just a productive citizen of
man.
the USA, right? Like, to
Say
be a productive citizen. And so anyone that, you know, and not everybody qualifies, but if it's something you want to do, then you should definitely go reach out and do it. I think it's a good thing for people to do irregardless. I
that's
don't think
right.
it's for everybody, and that's why it's all
Hmm.
volunteer, but there's a lot of people that can benefit from it. You can make a good future from learning those skills, and learning those skills is what's most important. And then when you come out of the military with the jobs that you've done, it sets you up to walk
Hmm.
into places and instantly be part of a team, instantly
That's true.
work with people, and make sure that you can. And here's the biggest one: relate to people no matter where you're from, or what you've done in your life, or how you grew up. Like, we are like that. The military is it's just a hugely diverse place where there's a whole bunch of different
Yeah.
people from a whole bunch of different places, and we have to work together in order to get
That's
it
right.
done. And I think that's one lesson that is just amazing, because it's the job. We have to do a job. We got to get it done.
Hmm.
There's going to be people that you don't like. There's going to be bosses that you can't stand. Welcome to life in general. But at
Hmm.
the end of the day, it's all about accomplishing the mission, and we've got to work together to do it. And the
Absolutely.
military is just like a sports team, right? A sports team that puts all their differences aside, because not everybody's going to get along and not everybody's going to be happy. But
That's
those
true.
teams that can put those differences aside are the teams that win, because they all have the same goal. And so that's what you learn in the military. And I think
Hmm.
that's pretty
and
pretty
and
amazing.
then you bring that into your life, man, because hey, one thing's for sure. We all walk that same walk. We all wore that uniform, and there's a feeling of belonging, man. And like I said, man, when I was with all you guys, man, it was like it wasn't just a mortgage team, it was a brotherhood, man, because we all did it, man. We all wore that uniform, man. We went out that night, man, and had dinner and everything, and it was great, man. I mean,
Yep.
it was just like, hey, man, it was like I re-enlisted again, man. I was around a band of brothers, man, which you guys are, a band of brothers, man. And it's like you said, man, you can go ahead and be somewhere. You can, when you're serving, you can be around some people that maybe you don't get along with, but at the same time, man, you're wearing that same uniform, and we all come together, set that aside, and we get the mission done. And then, and that's what makes things successful.
Absolutely, man. Well, I tell you
Yeah,
what, we still have to go do some work today,
that's right.
I think. I mean, they pay us to do work, but I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on. It's always
Hey,
good to talk to people from our team. It's good to hear new perspectives. I'm excited to see the vlog that you're going to do. I'm excited to
Yeah,
see how that blows up and moves forward. Once you create it, send it along so that we can share it, so that people can see it
yeah.
while you're out there doing it, and just have fun with it, man. Just
Absolutely, man. When I have my podcast, you're gonna have to be on it as well,
oh,
brother. We're
let's
gonna have to
go. I'm
continue
ready.
this.
I'm ready.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll do my
All
best.
right. I know you will.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate the time. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
And obviously, this is the
Yeah.
first. You're the first repeat, but there's going to be more. So we'll keep doing it, bro. We'll keep doing it.
Man, some point, man. But I think we need to. I don't know if we can have multiple people on this platform, man. But maybe we
Yeah,
may have to do it like a
let's
group
go.
podcast, man. Bring all of our guys on here, man. Let's just talk, man.
Let's go. Bring them all.
Let's
We can
do it.
bring we
All
can
right.
bring multiple people on here and do it, and let
Absolutely.
and then let the shenanigans begin. Let's do it. I'm ready for
Absolutely.
sure, man.
All